Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wano deck deep dive. Today featuring the second UK infantry division again. A division that has been part of top level Wano for a long time and it still is there, though it got a pretty big nerf lately again after getting a couple of bigger buffs beforehand, as it only has one challenger card, and we talk about a bit how you have to adjust for that. And yeah, let's get into it. Starting in the logistics tab, we have a leader card, we have two supply cards. Logistics, pretty tough tab here. So you have good other options here with the Puma supply, Chinook supply, another cut of Bedfords, but fitting that in is tough. Fitting in the Saxon is tough as well. So we only have two supply cards and the leader here on the 1 and 2 cost slots. But you get a lot of good infantry slots. And the infantry leaders, not the greatest, so we don't take any here. We only 5 leaders in the stack. You gotta be a bit careful there, but it's more so about dealing a lot of damage to the enemy and then following it up than playing the leader game hardcore of the stack. And for that, you have a good start here on the left side with Airmobile Pioneers and Airmobile with the Lynx rocket. And the Lynx rocket is a special rocket helicopter because it has aircraft rockets instead of the normal helicopter rockets. Means the spread of these is smaller and they fire faster because the snap are usually on aircraft. And that makes the Lynx AH-1 rocket helicopter surprisingly deadly with only 36 rockets. And it's a fast helicopter that can deploy your units really far forward. And bringing some good rockets with that is pretty powerful. And then we have 2 cards of Milan 2s. One in the rover and one in the Lynx Hellarm ATGM helicopter, which brings some tows. Tows not great, but it's still a extra helicopter that can annoy the enemy on the side that the enemy has to deal with, and that can be pretty annoying if you bring the air fleet here with this deck. And then you also get IFVs in this deck with the warrior, which is a pretty decent IFV. Milan got buffed lately. The 50.4 30mm cannon and 3 frontal armor is a pretty solid deal as well. And the infantry inside, the armored rifles are fine as well. Double MG. They only have laws, that's the big weakness here, but the infantry firepower, 440 points watt, pretty decent. 2 of those. And yeah, Airmobile Pioneers here, really good firepower. Airmobiles himself, with a low 80, really strong at holding off enemy. And then we have Mod Airmobile, which both are 9-man squads with Carl Gustav for 5 points cheaper even, on like 9-man squad with 2 MGs for 55 points with a decent AT weapon. That's a pretty good deal, coming in a Saxon, which is a nice little vehicle as well, has smoke, is really fast, especially off-road, and then we have the SAS, which are still fantastic. You want to have them in the Saxon as well. So yeah, these guys just all around fantastic. Stinger post, hitting any flying things above you, removing any air openers for the enemy to be really viable, as these also have 71% accuracy thanks to being special forces with 3 vet. This double mini-me plus C8 can stop enemy infantry pushing in on these as well, and the SA is really there as a fantastic all-around team that captures your ground so that the rest of your units can follow up, and yeah, keeps your links safe with the Stinger Post from being just air rushed, as you can't dive into these stairs. Like, chances are you are gonna lose your plane if there are 3 of these guys around, and that's just too scary. So SAS really good there. Artillery tab, pretty decent as well. You have 81mm mortar here for smoke play, and then you have the 155mm artillery piece with 4 rounds per minute. Really good gun. And an MLRS if you need a cluster. I don't use this often, but sometimes the map stalls out. Sometimes you need to get rid of some tank plop that's standing around and so on, and then this can come as a surprise. Usually people don't expect you to bring this artillery piece. And resupply is okay. Not great cost-wise, but it's okay. So yeah, with the 155mm artillery piece and the MLRS, you really can hit the enemy nicely. Tank tab got nerfed lately, but you still as the Challenger card got buffed beforehand, get 3 of them at 1 vet. You actually kind of save a card compared to before. Like, you have to use 1 less card, but you get 1 less Challenger as well, because before it was 4-2-1. Now it's 5-3-2. And yeah, I would take them at 1 vet so that you get 5 Challengers in total. And you can now put the extra card somewhere else, the extra 3 cost card. So I don't believe this deck got massively nerfed compared to where it was at the beginning of the year. 1 less Challenger, sure, but that's not the end of the world. And having another 3 cost card slot that you can put into Recon or Air or so is really powerful as well. Volvo Milan is here just to give you a bit more ATGM capabilities with some hard-hitting stuff. It can be nice in openers as well. Good on flanks. Yeah, just need a bit more anti-vehicle play in this deck. Recon tab for the openers if you want to keep up with a bit of speed. The Fox is still decently nice. It's pretty expensive, so you gotta be careful there. Then we have some cheap recon with the Terrier Scouts that are just there for the flank and just spotting from there. You don't get any GSRs or exceptional optics recon in this deck, which is a bit of an issue. And then we have the fast incoming Airmobile Scouts, which are also really good combat scouts, as they have 4 MGs for 65 points. They have a lot of HE firepower. Just have to be careful that you don't fly them into enemy AA. But outside of that, they can be nice for the early drop. And then the Gazelle here to spot for your helicopter openers and for your potential air spam. And yeah, just have something there early on to see the enemy. AA, we go with a lot of veterancy. Tractor up here on 1 vet. Has smoke nowadays, which makes it really nice. Can duel with helicopters because of that. Can duel, can shoot down air. Can follow up your push quite nicely, and be maneuverable so that enemy artillery doesn't hit it. The up here FSB 1 is pretty decent, especially on 2 vet, where it still has 2 veterancy, great accuracy, decent aim time, reload time here. Gets its 4 shots fired out pretty quickly, but it only has 4 shots, and it is a total unit, so you have to keep the transport close by and so on, and for that it's still pretty pricey. Maybe 10 points cheaper would be more it, but not like Berlin does need a massive buff. And yeah, Rapier FSB 1 with 2 vet, really accurate, can hit enemy planes flying over it quite nicely. Enemy helicopters pushing into it get smacked as well. And then we have the blowpipe, and that is just here to annoy the enemy. And it only costs 10 points. It can kill helicopters. Like, you get 40% accuracy on 2 vet, and you still get 6 availability there. So for 60 points, you have a couple of manpads that can just annoy enemy helicopters, and that's all you want from these guys, because your anti-helicopter in the air tab is not that great. Javelins cost you more than 3 times the price, and they actually have less anti-helicopter range, which is a big issue. They're better against aircraft, but your other stuff is good enough against aircraft. Your fighters are good enough against aircraft. So I'd rather take the extra helicopter range here and the way cheaper price. And 3 of these are better than a single javelin. Obviously, you can get multiple javelins around as well. And at full card deployment, the javelins are better. But before that, and as you have other options to spend your money into, the blowpipe is the more cost-efficient option here. Then helicopter, where we have some Gazelle rockets, and Lynx Helm, ITO, pretty capable. You could get another tow Lynx, but we already have that in the Milan 2 transport for 5 points more. And yeah, the Helm here with the ITO can kill off enemy IVs reliably, can hit tanks quite nicely. The Fito does good damage, but it has either too high a price or too low an availability right now. Though you don't want to buff 2nd UK at the moment, because as I said, it's still one of the most played and one of the strongest competitive divisions. It has fallen off a bit lately, so maybe there's a bit of room for Fito buffs now. But yeah, that was one of the reasons why Fitos didn't get loved beforehand, because they were just slightly too inefficient here, either in availability or cost, or both a bit. And then we have a filled air tab. That's where the tank slots went, and it's a pretty strong air tab. You get Phantoms, which are really cost efficient for air superiority role. You could also go for Harriers, but you have decent enough anti-helicopters. You need a bit of anti-aircraft here, and the Phantoms do the job there. You get good cluster and good HE bombers with the Jaguars. You get a great high altitude HE bomber with the Tornado, also 30 ECM on those, only 20% on the Jaguars, but yeah, Tornado hard to hit and good bomb spread. And then the HE1 Harrier here can smack a single target pretty nicely as well, can kill off helicopters, so that's a good one too. And yeah, 8 good strike aircraft, 4 good air superiority fighters. It's a pretty nice deck there. So yeah, strengths and weaknesses of this deck. You have, as the strengths, a fantastic opener with the Lynx and the SAS, like strong forward deploy, strong opener, good recon as well. You have good air support, and you have a decent mechanized part. Weaknesses is low number of tanks, obviously, and no gun-based AA is a bit of an issue of all British decks here, and comes into play here as well to deal with helicopters and overflying planes. That's always quite nice. And the manpads are pretty weak as well, Javelin and Blowpipe. Like, so the shore rod is a bit weaker than it could be. And yeah, that's kind of it weakness-wise. Like, the other stuff, you get decent helicopters, you get IFVs, you get APCs. Like, that's the only 2 weaknesses, really. And that's quite little. And that's why second UK is such a top deck and has been around so much. And if you get into Wano, like, this is one of the best decks to start with. It gets you combined arms, it teaches you how to play aggressively, because you kind of need to do it. Like, if you don't use the aggressive part of it, there's other divisions that do the rest of the game better. But being able to do the aggressive opener and then having a decent enough follow-up compared to a lot of other divisions, that's the big thing here. That's the big thing for this division. Yeah, maybe a weakness is the low supply, low logistics, but that's kind of it here, guys. So yeah, let me know down below what you think about second UK right now. Where would you count it in? Is it still an S tier division? Is it an A tier division? Yeah, how do you feel about it? And what would you maybe do different? And with that said, see you all next time, guys. Bye bye, and have a great day.